Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It is Coffee Ann on ONAM and FM. Thanks for joining us this morning. It's February 8th, and my name is Joe Callahan. Around the Coffee Ann table, we will say good morning and hello to Amanda LaRose from Navigant Credit Union. Hi, Amanda.
Hello.
Timmy could not make it today, so filling in. So would have been
it's
nice
a pleasant surprise
for everybody because he
everyone.
didn't tell me.
We balanced the odds. I'm very excited about this.
Melissa Smith from the St. Antoine Community is here. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning, everybody.
John Ward has joined us as well. Hi there, John.
Good morning, everyone, and happy birthday, Dr. Dave Ward. He is 60-something. I don't know what, but
Who is?
celebrating a birthday. My brother David,
Oh, okay.
the good doctor.
Yeah, very nice. The dentist, right?
I have to be nice to him. He's in the middle of a procedure on
rules
my
his
molars.
teeth. Don't worry. We ran on Novocaine there.
Well-
no, don't worry about it.
Now, he actually, like all things, you know, if your child is going to get seriously ill, or if your pet's going to have a problem, or if a crown is going to fall out of your mouth, it happens on a Friday night or Saturday morning. And,
Yeah.
of course, mine did on a Friday night. And so I had the privilege of having a brother who's a dentist and spent a couple of hours with him on Saturday morning.
Well, at least you like him,
And, yeah.
I think.
And you can yell at him and
so-
ask for more drugs.
So I'm sporting stitches, and there's another follow-up procedures that'll be taking
Oh,
place.
fun.
Because when the crown fails and the tooth is cracked, you know what happens to it? It gets removed.
Yes.
And then they have to place something else in there. So
Temporarily.
that's my
you
near
like
term. That's my near-term future.
Would you like to chew on some ice?
No,
Okay.
but I can open a bottle of beer for you if you like. No,
With your
we
teeth.
won't do that.
I hate the dentist. I mean, you know what? The dentists themselves are the nicest people on the entire planet.
Yeah.
Because everybody doesn't
But
like them.
not
I
when
just
they're,
hate
you know,
going.
Novocaine. The shot of Novocaine is not necessarily bad in most places. Like, you know, your lower jaw is much less sensitive to the shots than your upper jaw is, and the front is less sensitive than the back. And so this being a molar back here, and he is shooting up, and he had to go in about 4 times because it just wasn't.
Taking?
It was so bad the first round, I really didn't feel like he had numbed it at all, so I told him that. He did it again, and then it wore off a little bit, and he went back to do it again, and he said, are you on narcotics or something? Apparently people who take narcotics,
affects
Novocaine, Novocaine doesn't really work very well.
Wow.
So they
wonder
don't
they ask those
don't get
questions.
numbed by the Novocaine if you're taking narcotics regularly.
Boy.
So
There's a
I
real
don't.
bad side effect.
So it's just one of those freaky things that. So the worst part of the whole procedure was the multiple times he had to shoot like gum up with.
Oh God! See, that
whatever
doesn't.
he put
It's
in
the
there.
gagging. It's the laying back. You don't have control.
When
It's
they try
all
to talk to you and they expect an answer and you're like,
You just take on and Jack Dunham.
yeah.
It's just you can't say Dunham because you got to close your lips. But you try to be a ventriloquist when you try
All
to
right.
Oh
respond.
gosh!
It's time for first message, Melissa, from the St. Antoine communities, please, as we
Make
move
the
away
whole
from
first half
John's
of the
mouth.
show about dentist experiences. I feel
All I was
like.
trying to say was happy birthday.
Happy birthday. So for those of you that don't know a lot about St. Antoine Community, we are a large long-term care campus located in North Smithfield, and we're on the line of Blackstone, Mass. And Woonsocket. And on our property, we offer an expansive continuum of services that range from assisted living to short and long-term skilled care. We have a state-of-the-art rehab center, a private hospice suite, as well as a large secured memory care unit. And the 2 buildings that are on our property are the Ville at St. Antoine, which is our 76-apartment assisted living facility, and the Residence at St. Antoine, which is our 180-bed short and long-term skilled care facility. So if you are presently at a crossroads with your loved one and trying to determine when is the right time to seek more help and support, feel free to reach out to me. You can call me at 401-767-3500 or email me at msmith@santantoine.net. Thank you.
You want to talk about what happened at St. Antoine's residence because of the weather?
Oh my gosh. It wouldn't be the first time that we've had, pipes freeze or something to that extent. And both buildings are on a cement slab, so you're dealing with that. You're in the middle of like 50 acres of land. You've got trees, lots of natural disasters. But this was unique. So one of the fire sprinklers in the lobby froze up with the weather on Friday,
and then it
burst.
So.
Which forced like the entire North Smithfield Fire Department to have to come and everything. There's a lot more regulatory issues with that, but I mean, we're very grateful it was just isolated to the lobby, which impacted staff and the offices, the admin offices corridor, and then the chapel to the left, but not the resident rooms.
Well,
so,
good.
You know, if anybody's been into the main lobby of the residence, there's nothing above you, no resident rooms above you. It's an open cavity, so lucky in that regard, I guess. But for the staff in the building right now, it's pure torture because there's 10 or 15 industrial fans lining the corridor, the hallways,
Just
the
trying
lobby.
to dry everything out?
And it is
20
so loud. I was
loud.
there for a few meetings yesterday.
24/7.
Yeah.
They are loud.
And it just sounds like you're at airport
You're in an
engines,
airplane.
like you're just right in front of an airport an airplane ready to take off. And so it's a few like fans of Beyonce on the staff. We're having Beyonce dancing movements with their hair waving, because it's just like this big, heavy blast of air at you. So that was fun for a few minutes. And then
Do
you
a
realize
haircut.
quickly
Then it
it's
gets
very
old.
disruptive. You're on the
Yes.
phone. You can't make calls. We had a few meetings yesterday, and it
You
was
can
just
do
very
a
long.
shampoo and conditioner commercial.
You can do it all. You can do it all.
How long do you think it's going to take for everything to
Well, let's
get
see. It's already
straightened
been
out?
3 days, and
It's,
the fans are still there.
Still going, okay.
They did have it assessed for insurance, like whether or not they needed to tear out, the
rugs
rugs
and
and the walls. But they said no, there's no concern right now.
No,
Everything
just
should
dry it
dry
out.
out fine.
Try it out.
Wow.
I do think we're lucky that the temperatures
Come back
completely
up.
swerved on
Yes.
Sunday, and being 50 degrees helped, and even the last few days mild by winter standards.
Well,
so
yes and no, because the warmer it gets, the more moist the air is, and the more moist the air is, the slower it is drying out. But they do, when
But
they're,
nothing's
when they're doing
freezing.
it for insurance reasons,
Yeah.
they have to make sure that they get all the moisture in all the little cracks and crevices, because
there's no
that's where the
mold.
mold starts, and can't have that.
I mean, we're due for a renovation anyways, and I've shared that on the air. I mean, this whole conversation started before the pandemic, and then the pandemic just blew up all those plans because all of your resources were then invested in COVID supplies and pandemic relief and staffing and all that kind of stuff. So we're starting to get back on track, and we're starting to, get the plans back in place, and it's like this happened. So part of me is, if I were a homeowner, I'd be like, let's take the insurance money. But that was denied by the insurance company this weekend. So airing out is the priority right now.
Was there anybody in the lobby when it actually burst and they get like
No, it was at night.
showered with water?
No,
Oh
it
my
was at night. I think they knew because the fire department showed up, and that was, I
Yeah.
think, how it was detected. I think.
So once the
It was in
sprinkler
the
went
evening.
off, an alarm went off at the
Well,
North
when the
Smithfield
sprinkler
Fire?
goes off, the pressure drops in the line, and when the
Mm-hmm.
pressure drops in the line, it sends an alarm signal out to say, "Hey, pressure
Something's up.
dropped in the line.
Yeah.
Go
Yeah.
find out why."
So the administrator for the building, I'm sure, enjoyed getting that middle of the night phone call from the fire department saying, "Get
Come on
down
down."
here. There's about 2 inches of water in your office." So that's always fun,
That's one of the interesting things. We all complain about regulations, but when
Yeah.
they put in regulations about sprinkler systems and backflow preventers and all of the things that, because if you didn't have a backflow preventer, a sprinkler went off and the water started flowing back in the line, the pressure might not go down, or may not go down right. They put sensors in, and so the fire department's alerted before anybody even knows they have to pull an alarm.
All right.
And who pulls an alarm when a sprinkler goes off, right? Because there's no fire.
Yeah, I wouldn't think of that.
But they want to make sure there's no fire.
Right. Okay. Amanda, ever hear of anything happening in Navigate due to
No,
busted pipes
we-
or anything like that?
We were, as far as I know, all of our branches are okay. I think. I'm not in the touch anymore now that I don't sit in a branch.
I think you would have heard though.
Yeah, we would have heard, but I think everybody was good. Everybody was business as normal. I was in one of the branches on Saturday morning. It was freezing, but they were nice enough to crank up the heat, and everybody was warm inside.
All right, great. Well, I hope hope the fans get turned off quickly, Melissa. Well, you want everything dried out first, of course.
My
but,
office isn't in that building. I was only there for a few meetings, and I left there saying, "Thank God my office isn't in the building," because it would drive me crazy.
were your ears ringing? Could you hear
It was
just
just, I
fans for the
couldn't
rest of the
focus.
day?
I have a hard time. We laugh here often. I have self-diagnosed myself with ADD. It's not something that I've ever been told I have, and I'm not medicated for it. But even in here in this environment, I bring a script because these guys can easily reroute my attention as we're talking. So I have to like stick to a script. Otherwise,
Yeah,
I could just.
that's our ADD. Rerouting your ADD.
That's a squirrel moment for sure for me. But yeah, I think if I were in that building, I would struggle with focus.
What
tremendously.
really surprised me was the chart in the Providence Journal, I forget which day, that showed that as cold as it was, that was the 9th lowest temperature
Yeah.
on record for whatever the winter or something. And because I remember one back in 1980, I think it was on the chart, where it was much colder than that on Christmas Day. I don't know if you remember back that far, but I remember I went to visit my grandmother on Christmas Day and thinking I was only going to be there about 10, 15 minutes. So don't worry about the plant that's in the back seat of the car. And I was only there about 10 or 15 minutes.
And it froze.
Frozen.
I bet.
Wow.
It was unbelievably cold.
It felt like on Friday, it wasn't even the temps as much as it was, at least the time that I left work to go pick up my kids from school, thinking that I was in the middle of like a winter blast tornado. The wind
The wind was
and the trees above
unbelievable.
me, and I live in North Smithfield, and I feel like every road, every back road, every main road, everything just has
Down
trees
tree-
hovering.
oh, okay.
And the branches that were cracking above, the whole time I'm looking up, I'm like, just please, gunning it through certain spots just to try to get through. But it was the wind that scared me the most. I thought there'd be a lot more outages just from trees going down than anything.
All right. Well, as always, things could always be worse. You could be a parent in Pawtucket who sends your kid to Winters Elementary School. This is a brand new school,
Yes.
brand new this year.
Closed.
Busted pipes. Yeah, and a brand new school. So they're doing a distance learning all this week because it's taking them a while.
There's warranty claims and litigation coming, I'm sure.
I was surprised how many schools on Monday morning on the news were listed at the bottom with having closures, whether it was trees had fallen. I know Smithfield High
Smithfield
School,
High.
I think, had a tree that went down in the school, and a couple others had water issues. A couple of them had heat issues. There was a pretty long list, surprisingly, on Monday.
But the parents are not amused down there in Pawtucket who had their taxes pay for a brand new school, and within 5 months the pipes burst and something brand new, and now it's flooding and now it's taking a while. Now they think it's got to do with the frigid temperatures, but they have to bring in engineers to conduct an assessment of why it really happened. And like John said, and then the litigation starts.
And then that.
Well,
Who's-
it depends
who's
if the
wrong?
contractor.
Everything should be under warranty.
I mean,
don't you
it should
think?
be under warranty. The contractor will probably have to come back and make them whole. But
Yeah, but who pays for the damage besides the insurance company?
Whoever put the stuff in.
Yeah. All right.
Well, see, that's where you get into fights because sometimes.
No, it's your fault. No, it's your
Sometimes,
fault.
the contractor says, "Well, no, we installed it exactly according to the spec
what you
the
wanted.
architect gave
Yeah.
us.
So blame him.
Don't blame
Or
me,
her.
blame him.
Yeah.
Go against their insurance, not mine."
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, that's the problem down there. All right, John, you were not at the city council meeting on Monday night.
I was not. I
and
was at a
two
joint
others.
school committee and town council meeting for the town of Lincoln to talk
Okay.
about their program for 5-year capital planning.
I bring it up because there's a front page in today's call about the $50 missed appointment fee, which
Yes,
did not pass.
I'm glad that did not pass.
You would have been. You would have voted
I would
against
have
it.
voted against that.
Okay.
I mean,
Didn't pass 2-2.
Well, it's what is it? What do you say? Something less than 50. That, or there was a number in the article about how many actual people didn't make the appointments.
I didn't read that far.
Out of a couple of thousand.
So it's a small number.
It's a fairly small number.
Okay.
And I know it's inconvenient,
Mm-hmm.
but to try to whack them for $50, what do you do if they don't pay the $50? Do you deny them their permit? Do you?
I don't know.
Do you
Who enforces
do you
this,
fail
too?
their inspection? Do you not allow them to build what they're planning to build? I don't know. It sounds like it would set up for more headaches than it's worth.
Okay, so that's why you were against it.
That's yeah.
Did you want it to be rewritten better? Not better. Better's not a good word, but just rewritten where it could be okay?
I
or-
think it's one of those things where maybe if there was a missed appointment, you would send a certified letter to the company or the owner of the property saying, "You missed your appointment. If you do it again,
There'll be a
we
fine."
will. You need to contact us to make another appointment,
Mm-hmm.
and if you do it again, we will be assessing a fine before we will release your permit." That might work. Something where you show some level of communication, because if they miss the appointment, clearly the communication missed. You don't want to simply say, "You screwed up." What happens when the city's guy is late and shows up 10 minutes late, and the owner of the property went back to work?
Yeah, I'm right.
Do they fine the city? Do they blame the city? Sometimes those things happen. So I don't want to presume too much. I would much prefer that there would be, the first order of business would be some effort to communicate and then say, let's do this again and get it right. Or there will be a penalty associated with it.
Okay. Melissa, it's time for a second message from the St. Antoine communities. It's not underwater.
It's not underwater is my second message. If you know how to swim, no, just kidding. Actually, we were joking yesterday as we were
Come
taking.
see our newly installed pool.
Pool. That's right.
I've shared with you on
Thankfully,
the
it's
air.
a wading pool.
See, this is what happens. I don't have a script. I'm going to get all off course. In fact, what I was going to talk about now, I'm changing my tune because you brought up water, and I feel like I need to make a joke about whatever. I'll get back on point with what I was going to talk about,
right.
and then I'll mention that other story later, maybe off the air. So believe it or not, I had a meeting yesterday to talk about our 2023 golf tournament. You know, if you've ever planned a golf tournament, it does take months. Lots of months to plan and execute on the level that we really deliver every year. And we have a wonderful following, and we have a wonderful group of folks that come back every year. And we are offering more sponsorship opportunities than in the past because we had so much support last year, and so many additional vendors reach out and want to support the event. So we've added some new categories. I'm working on fine-tuning that. But if you are a local business vendor in the area and you want to support a good cause, please reach out to me. I'm the one that's in charge of planning this wonderful event that stresses the heck out of me from now until August 21st is the date this year. It's the Monday after the holiday. So you can reach me at 401-767-3500, whether you want to volunteer, participate as a golfer, or sponsor the event, or even donate a raffle prize. I know it sounds far out, but a lot of companies do their planning in advance on what they can provide for a donation, Navigant included. I plan on reaching out to Tim probably this afternoon. So yes, now's the time. So call me if you are interested. Thank you so much.
Very good. More of the Coffee and program coming your way. You can call in comments or questions at 766-1240.
You know, when you're paying the right price for protection, you just know it. It's that warm, fuzzy, totally secure feeling, knowing that you're not only getting great coverage, but you're also not paying too much for it. And when it comes to your insurance, there's no one better at getting the right price for your protection than Allstate agents Kara and Celeste Benjamin, because they know when it comes to your bank account, every penny counts towards something bigger, something better. Like a nicer car, that home update you've been dreaming of, or a phone that's fresh out of the box. Those little or big things that we work so hard for. And Kara and Celeste Benjamin want to help you work a little less by getting you the coverage you need and the savings you deserve when you switch to Allstate. Contact Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. 765-5000 for a free quote today. Allstate, you're in good hands. And you're in good hands with Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. Savings vary based on the average annual savings reported by new auto customers surveyed in 2019 who switched to Allstate.
The Coffee and panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
ON Radio in Woonsocket.
Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here, along with Amanda LaRose, Melissa Smith, and John Ward. Did anybody watch the State of the Union address last night?
In and out.
Yeah.
In and out.
Did you study it?
I saw highlights too, as well.
Impressed? Unimpressed? More of a campaign speech?
I was unimpressed because too much of it was non-unifying language.
Okay.
It was bragging about some things that were sort of not real. It was triggering the Republicans for no other reason, I guess, than to try to embarrass people. Mm-hmm. Some of it was good. Some of the stuff he said, I have to wonder if he's genuine about, like talking about securing the border and stopping the flow of fentanyl from Mexico. Really? Really? I haven't seen evidence of you stopping the flow of...
Oh, he said he's already stopped it? Or
No, he's
going
saying
to?
they're going to.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like, finally?
We'll get around to it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know that I believe it. But little things like and it's one of these technical things. You hear about We created 12 million jobs.
I did hear him say that.
Yeah, everyone that came back to work after COVID was counted as a new job.
Oh.
Really? I don't know if I'd say that.
But when you're watching it, don't you think to yourself, at least I think this to myself, regardless of the party, this is the format. Like every State of
Well,
the Union is that.
it-
It's just.
But some were much.
questioning
Some were.
data.
There have been some in history that have been more diplomatic and less accusatory. That little bit about wanting to phase out Social Security and Medicare, that probably some wacko Republican submitted legislation to do just because they're nuts. To throw that up there and say, some of our friends from the Republican side want to phase out Social Security and Medicare. Why is that in that speech? All you're doing is trying to start trouble.
Yeah, but that's the entertainment factor. Like, so for
Yeah,
those of you
well,
that are
you know
half
what?
asleep
You know
watching,
what?
and then all of a sudden
I-
that's thrown
I
out there,
can't
you
say- I can't
wake
s-
up.
Well, I'll give you two examples, one Democrat and one Republican, that if you look at their State of the Union speeches, it never happened because they were trying to talk about things that they thought they could get some unity on. And one of them was Ronald Reagan and the other one was Bill Clinton. I never heard either of them do a State of the Union speech that was that partisan or that gotcha or that triggering. They were more like statesmen than they were like politicians. Joe Biden last night was a politician. He took almost an hour and a half, and he was speaking fast. I was amazed how much he had
probably
to
got in.
talk. He was talking about. It was like he was trying to cover every possible topic. And quite frankly, there was a moment in the middle of it where I sort of nodded off because it was just getting so long.
Yeah.
And then I came back up, and it's like, oh,
Still
he's
talking.
still talking, huh? Yeah,
All right.
wow. But yeah, it was. I mean, there is always some theater involved, but it's not usually so partisan. And-
Okay.
Or not. It shouldn't be so partisan.
Did you catch any of it, Amanda, or is it just not your thing?
Not my thing.
Okay.
I am content with not having to make any more space in my brain for any political fights or any political. I'm passionate about certain things, and I will find those things that I'm passionate about. But
That's not one of them.
Yeah.
Well, there are other.
My
I mean,
husband was avid. I
Riveted?
could not talk to him during it. But that's what he likes to follow politics. He likes to know the
did he
ins and
scream at the
outs.
TV?
No, he's more reserved.
Did he throw something
I
at the
actually
TV?
left the house. I went and played cards instead. So
What's going to be really fun is listening to all of the critics on the conservative side, because I don't think if I'd had a clicker, I'm not sure how high it would have gone for the times where he slurred out a word, where he didn't actually enunciate or pronounce the actual word. It just sort of slid off as mush, and it happened like regularly,
times,
many times, not a few, not several, many times, where he just sloshed through some words that you kind of thought you knew were words, and then he just got some things missed that he got wrong. He also, at some point about halfway through, he was flipping the pages, and then halfway through he stopped, and he started reading only on the teleprompters, and that's where he started. I think some of the things he made comments about that were a little out of line may have been off script.
Okay.
And sometimes he tends to drift that way. And
Did he ever come back to
they
the
say
book?
that they say that you can tell when he's off script because he gets louder
Okay.
and more aggressive in how he speaks, and then when he goes back to the script, he's
Much calmer.
calmer.
Kind of like Melissa.
So I go into a weird space when I watch him speak because I really try not to go into politics on the show. So this isn't really a political rant for me at all. It's more about I respect the age that he is as a president of our country. I respect the fact that he does have a lisp and he does have a stuttering issue. So there's
Well, I know
that
he has a stuttering
in his
issue,
delivery.
but I'm
and
not
I
sure
think
about a
about
lisp.
the fact that you're right. I'm sorry. It is just a stuttering problem. It's not a lisp. My bad. But an hour and a half, even myself as someone in their 40s with a script,
it's just
an
a
hour
long-
and a half is
long
exhausting.
time. It
And
is.
at his
Oh, no.
age, and maybe it's because the field I work in, I'm not sure, but my dad will get real critical and he'll like rattle off a bunch of things. And at the end of the day, I'm like, Dad, he's your age. Could you do that? Could
yeah.
you do this like rigorous schedule and getting on a plane and
I-
traveling here and there?
I wasn't,
exhausting.
and I was impressed by the fact that at the end of the speech, it wasn't like he just got off so he could go take his nap. he worked the crowd in the room for at least another half hour.
That's stamina. I mean, I'm asleep on the couch as a mom. As a full-time working mom and kid schedules by 8 o'clock, I'm asleep on the couch if possible.
Now, don't get me wrong.
I crash.
Maybe he had just gotten up from his nap at
Maybe.
8
He
o'clock.
might have.
I don't know.
It's possible.
But it
But
starts
he
late
was,
at night.
He
and
was very energized when he was giving this speech. So he did whatever he did to prepare for it. He did it right because he didn't burn out. He did struggle with some of the words, and he did sort of reverse things by calling Schumer the minority leader.
Oh, I saw that. That was a little cringy. That was a little bit of a cringe moment.
But it was.
Did you see Sarah Huckabee did the Republican response? Did you see her speech?
I
That was about 20 minutes.
saw about 10 words of it. I haven't really
words.
I
listened
only
to it.
heard people
I
say
haven't
it was
listened to
very
it.
controversial. Like even Republicans are in a weird space
what she
about
said?
whatever she said, but I haven't seen
I don't
it.
know what she said, so I'll have
I don't
to,
either.
I'll have to, if I'm interested, which I'm probably not, because you say it doesn't interest you. For me, a lot of this is a one-day event. It goes in and then it sort of drains out.
Right.
It's not. None of it is valuable in the long term as policy-making stuff. It's like reading your Sears catalog wish list. It's not all going to happen.
Well, you in the beginning said you're questioning the statistics. And I think that people watching,
always,
you could
yeah.
hear all of what's being said, but are you going to sit there the next day and spend hours
Yeah, researching.
researching? And even if
You're
you're
not.
researching, where are you getting your content from?
Yeah.
Washington Post article or this article, and then you're questioning if that article is accurate. So you go in circles. So you have to trust what you're hearing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Again, it's just
Okay.
routine.
Yeah, you're right. And so speaking of Washington,
Sounded like Groundhog Day.
A little
Is
bit.
it? Okay.
Yes, that's a very good way to put it.
You know it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
The next day it's gone.
Yeah, there you go. All right. Speaking of Washington, I flew in on Sunday, and I actually saw the Pentagon.
Nice.
We flew over the Pentagon. I said, "Hey, that's pretty well, not over it, kind of to the side of it."
I don't think you're allowed to fly
I don't
over
know.
it.
They don't let you fly over it.
No,
Fly over
they don't allow that anymore. And later on, I was able to see the Washington Monument from my car, or the car I was in. I said, all right. I said, maybe I can see the Capitol. That's pretty tall. I didn't see that. But the Pentagon and the Washington Monument, hey, there they are. That's pretty good. That was pretty
I
cool.
love DC. Have you never just spent
That
like
was
4 or
my
5
very- no,
days in DC?
first time I was
You
ever
need
in
to do
DC.
it.
Wait a minute,
You have to do it.
The car took you from one airport to the other and went by the Washington Monument?
Not right by it. I mean, it's so tall. Hey, there it is.
But-
Oh, okay.
I would have thought they wouldn't even cross the river to get you from one to the other.
Yeah.
Oh,
All of a sudden, we were on the
just,
right
I,
road.
it's just I know how my son gets me to the
Yeah.
airport at Reagan.
Okay.
And from
I don't
Reagan to
know.
where he lives, you don't have to cross the river.
This is honestly like a little PSA, but if you're a family of young kids, I wouldn't say super young. I'd say probably by like age 10 to 18, take your kids. It's such a great family opportunity. It's inexpensive to go vacation there
It-
and
it
spend
is.
4 or
Yes,
5
everything's
days.
free.
Mostly
And-
everything's
and if
fine.
you go
Museums
during-
not free, and
It's a
there's
little
a few others.
it's a little warm, but if you go during the summer, it's fairly inexpensive.
That's when we went. We went in the
And-
summer, and it was great.
I think it makes an impression when young kids see the massive scale
Yeah.
of the monuments. They look
Yeah.
nice in pictures, and you
Yeah.
think, "Oh, that's nice."
Until you see
Until
it.
you go stand at the bottom of the Washington
Yeah.
Monument, and you look up,
Yeah.
and you get into the Lincoln Memorial, and you stand there next
Feel
to
the
the statue.
history. You do.
Oh my God! And
But-
then, of course, if you walk from the Lincoln Memorial to the Capitol,
Yeah.
well, you've got 2 days workout just doing that.
True, and the grounds are beautiful. And we talk about Disney all the time here.
Right.
You never see a lawnmower. You never see it. Same thing in DC. I never saw a lawnmower, and you think to yourself, how? Like, are these grounds so green, plush, manicured?
Yeah,
They
5
do it
5
right.
a.m..
They take care of it.
5
Have you been
a.m.
there, Amanda?
I have not, but my brother lives right outside, and he travels to Washington daily. We just went over the winter, and we went to Baltimore instead. We were deciding on Washington or Baltimore, and we chose Baltimore because of the Science Museum there,
Okay.
and the waterfront. And with 4 little kids under the age of 8, it was easier there.
Right. That makes sense. Okay.
When their legs grow to the age that they can really
Yeah,
handle
that-
that walking,
Now,
then go.
my brother and his family have gone to Washington and walked around, and they've
Yeah.
had a
10,
blast.
yeah,
and
10 to 18, though, because the legs are going to be long enough. DC
Yeah.
is a tough walk.
Yeah.
But you're right, John, when you talk about the scale of everything, just flying by the Pentagon, because I've always heard, well, the world's largest office
yeah.
building, and you look down at it, it's like, Wow, it is as big as everyone always says it is. Like, well, what a monster building. All right. It's time for a break, and we're going to take a look at the weather forecast, which is being brought to you by Unbound.org. Today, sunny with a high temperature near 50 degrees. Northwest wind 6 to 13 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly clear skies. Low temperature around 28. West wind 3 to 6 miles per hour. Thursday's weather, increasing clouds. Showers are likely late in the day. High temperature will be near 47. Thursday night, cloudy with showers. Low temperature around 40. It'll be windy with a south wind 11 to 21 miles per hour. Friday's weather, mostly sunny, high near 58. The outlook for Saturday, mostly sunny and a high near 42. Currently outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, cloudy skies and 41 degrees. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change the world, and it will change your own. Unbound.org. The latest trends in kitchen and bath design are vivid colors like Viva Magenta being incorporated into cabinets, vanities, and tile. Metallic finishes, especially coppers and rich golds, are good for faucets, sinks, and hardware. Plus, black is always a popular choice for cabinets and wall color.
Hi, this is Kevin Beck from Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center.
Kevin and his team can make your dream kitchen and bath a reality. Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center, McDonald's Plaza, Mendon Road, right off Route 295 in Cumberland. Visit CumberlandKitchen.com. Transforming a house into a home at Cumberland Kitchen and Bath Design Center.
Since its founding in 1996, the Valley Breeze has been the trusted source for local news in the Blackstone Valley. Our readers and advertisers understand that shining a light on all aspects of our communities and doing it with some of the best local journalism anywhere makes these cities and towns better places to live in. We believe that truth has value and should triumph over rumors and misinformation. See valleybreeze.com or any of our 5 editions for more on how you can be part of this local news success story.
Hey, it's ON Radio's Cruz and Bruce Palmer inviting you to join me for the Saturday Block Party. It's every Saturday from 4 until 7 p.m. when we fill the airwaves with the songs you want to hear. It's a party in every sense of the word, so join me live on 99.5 and 1240 a.m. or bring the show with you wherever you go at onworldwide.com.
It's Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday morning. Joe Callahan along with John Ward and Melissa Smith and Amanda LaRose from Navigant Credit Union. And Amanda, time for first message from Navigant, please.
Yay. So right now, Navigant, as well as every other financial institution, has some incredible CD rates. Navigant's CD rates, you can go from a term of 6 months all the way up to 4 years, depending on the term that you're looking for and the length that you're looking for with your money. We have a great 15-month CD right now with new money at 4.5 annual percentage yield. That is 15 months with new money at 4.50 annual percentage yield. If you'd like more information, please visit our website at www.navigantcu.org or call our call center at 401-233-4700.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you.
Tim Draper's usually here, and Tim is in charge of public relations and marketing at Navigant. But Amanda's got the cool job.
She does.
She gets to travel around the state and go visit schools and other things like that, and just enlighten the kids and adults on financial literacy and how it all works and how you can get started. And it must be just a blast.
It is. This year with Kathy taking over as CEO and president of Navigant, we really shifted our focus to financial well-being in our communities, businesses, and families, right? So we want to make sure that you are not just in a bank because that's where your money is, right? We want you to be financially well. And in order to do that, we need to start teaching people financial literacy. When back in school, when I was in school, we had a class on financial literacy, and now
a class.
Well, more than one class,
right.
But now it's shifted so much that, they're all worried about test grades and scores and where the kids need to be with math and education and history. So the financial literacy piece is really easy for us to come in. We come in, we visit during a period, we kind of just give you a little tidbit, or at least the kids a tidbit on, wants versus needs and budgeting and savings and what a checking account is. Because they're not going to use checks, right? But what is that actual checking account? What is a debit card versus a credit card? And so I've really made programs geared towards each grade level and being able to go in and talk to them during a period, as well as I get to go to visit community partners and talk to their employees or talk to their membership base about Credit 101 and Budgeting 101 and how do we do that? How do we improve your credit? How do we get you out of debt? And meeting with members one-on-one and doing financial credit counseling. I love it. It's so much fun.
Is it? That's just a blast. I just remember in high school, the kids that were in the business program, they got that information about financial literacy. All us others that were in the college prep, you'll figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
You didn't even get a lifeline.
I would have loved that
You'll do it.
exposure.
I would have loved that
age.
too. This is how it works.
Because if you
and
don't
this
have
is how you do it.
exposure at a young age, you're intimidated by it, and you
Yeah.
just keep rolling, getting older and older and older, and then you really don't want to
And
ask
you don't want to ask the
and-
questions
Yep.
or you make mistakes, right? I mean, nowadays there are plenty of financial institutions out there that don't offer any fees on a checking account. So if you're paying a fee on your checking account, why?
Yeah.
Why?
It's just throwing money away. Eh?
Right, and maybe that institution has one,
The-
but you need to go in and
Here's,
ask the
here's,
question.
here's the challenge for you and for everybody in the banking industry. Much like they still say dial a phone and you really can't,
That's right.
what are you going to replace the term checking account with if there's no checks?
So,
All right.
and that
Play
is
money.
a very big. So we just rolled out our new Embark account, which is our student account, right? And we don't call it a checking account; it's just our Embark account, because you really do have more digital power, right? The debit card, and
How about stash of cash?
everybody. A lot of us refer to
Oh
it
yeah,
as
then
a
we'll
spend
get
account.
then we'll get rid of cash.
Right. We do refer to it as a spend account, especially when we're talking to kids, because it's a little bit easier versus the checking account. But it's still important for somebody, even in a high school age, to know how to write a check.
Yes.
You
Oh
know?
no, I get that, but I think of the number of checks I used to use a check at the barbershop, and then the price point hit just right where I didn't have to anymore. But I would go to the checkbook after a month to write another check, and the last 3 checks that I wrote were barbershop because we don't
Right.
write checks anymore. And I think if I were teaching high school kids and they were planning to go to college, the first thing I would tell them is some advice that I got from a MIT professor as my son was thinking about going to college, and of course he paid no attention to it. Neither of them did. Which is, don't apply to a place like MIT for undergrad work or Harvard for undergrad work. Go to your state college, state university. It's affordable. You don't have to borrow until you're broke. And then once you're looking for a graduate degree, then you go to the prestige name so that you can put the prestige name on your resume as a graduate with a master's degree in such and such from MIT or
Harvard.
except my kids got their degrees from Boston University at
Yikes.
40-some thousand a year. And, that's
You know what's a
They-
healthy exercise too is so this by chance happened to me a couple weeks ago. I did some spending for work, put in my check request, got back cash, petty cash. So like $350 was in my wallet at the time, no longer. And I was like, okay, I gotta just use cash for the next week or so, and whatever else. It is amazing how fast $350 flies out of your wallet, and it actually made me chuckle because we've gotten so accustomed to, debit swipes or credit card
Yes,
swipes, and then just accounting for the math at the end of the month when you're paying your bills. But I was like, oh my God, that happened really fast. It's gone, and it's between the kids, my husband, grabbing a coffee, whatever it is. But that's a healthy exercise for the kids to go back to. Before my kids were 13, they have the Embark account. We were doing the green light card, the green light card, just to teach them. Have you ever heard of that before? You've heard of that before. So the kids would get a little allowance. We would digitally transfer money over to it, and they could use that and go shopping with it. That's a card. Again, they were never going shopping with cash, but it was easier for us to just move money around, and then you had it in an emergency, or if they were out of store and they liked something and they needed a little more, I could transfer it electronically. These kids need to carry cash once in a while too, because they just need to understand the value of the dollar and how fast it can be spent.
there you go. That's the thing you learn by using cash, because as you said, you got all this money in your pocket, and all of a sudden you're touching the last 20. It's like,
Exactly.
everything
How did
go?
that happen?
When I do budgeting with members, especially when they're like, my spending's out of control, or I don't know where my stuff is going, or
Use cash.
I say go back to the envelope method. There's a whole stack at Navigant. Just go grab a couple of them. Put $100 a week for your groceries, $50 for gas, whatever you're doing. I said, and when you go to the store and you have only that $100 in cash in your envelope, and you need to use only that, you're going to be more conscious about what you're buying versus
You are.
just
It
throwing
is.
stuff in a
It's-
cart.
Right.
You know?
A card is just too easy.
Yeah, and I think it all depends on the person, right? If you have that ability to constantly know in your head your budget and, okay, I know I'm allowed to spend this much, so I'm going to be aware of it.
Right.
But we as a society don't do that, and
No.
it's harder.
It's really a humbling experience to do that. And I remember before we had my first kid and we were in a different situation financially, we did that for several weeks just to get ourselves into it before we have the baby diapers and the formula and all. Like, we just needed to get a grip on our finances. It is amazing how it does discipline you. And the only variable is groceries. You could sit there and say,
yeah.
I have $100 this week for groceries. And the humbling part is you're checking out and it comes in at $120. And you have to look at the belt and say, okay, take that back, take that back. Not just reach into your wallet and then pull from another envelope.
Correct.
It is a good exercise for you to be teaching these kids.
All right, moving on to other things going on in the news. They did identify the woman in Burrillville that was found in the pond, partially submerged. Looks that no foul play. That's the good part. Looks like she's a frequent hiker in that area, according to the Burrillville police, and her name is Jane Finkelstein. She's 67 years old, and she just fell through the ice. I am hearing rumors that she was trying to go after her dog, but I don't know if that's actually true.
I after that hard freeze that came so quickly, the next day I was driving and I thought, I hope nobody goes out on ice thinking that it actually froze over enough to be safe.
Yeah.
And then you see this story about the woman who fell through. It's just, it was a nice thin sheen, but that was
Yeah.
about all. Mm-hmm. Wasn't going to last very long.
And the water's so cold and it just attacks you, and you get hypothermia so quickly.
Very
and,
quickly.
And then that's it. And and that's a shame. So they did
The
identify
horrifying
her,
thought is, how long was she there
struggling to get out.
struggling to get out?
I don't know.
I don't even want to think about that.
They don't say. So the Chief Justice of the Rhode Island Supreme Court has issued an executive order to all the judges underneath that now say you now need to implement procedures to expunge marijuana-related criminal charges against people that are in prison. All right. It was let's see, because now cannabis is now legal in Rhode Island. We need to get these people that just have misdemeanors and felony possessions and civil violations. Got to get them out. So the process has started. Makes you wonder how many people are actually incarcerated on marijuana-related charges that now need to get their record wiped clean and get out of here. I don't know. I don't have that
I don't
number.
either.
I don't know. Probably a lot.
We'll go with a lot on that one.
I know.
I guess it's a good idea.
I guess the problem is with some of these cases is sometimes people plead to a lesser charge
Of
to
marijuana
reduce a
possession,
sentence, so
yeah.
they plead to a charge of possession when they actually did something more severe, because the legal system is designed around low staffing and efficiency of process. So how do you, the common plan when you get in trouble is make a plea deal so that they don't have to go into court and they will give you a lesser sentence. Something like Gordon Fox, who got 3 years for what he did. It happens that, he probably could have gotten 10 to 15, but he said, I'll agree to plead guilty if you'll hit me with a lesser charge, and then I'll get something less. Well, the same thing could happen here. You may have people who assaulted someone or some sort of unarmed robbery or a whole series of things that they may have been distributing, but agreed to plead to a lesser deal of possession in order to keep the system out of the courtroom. So are you releasing somebody who's should be in prison anyway?
Well, as I reread the story, I'm going to make an assumption here. It's not for people that are in prison. It looks like
it's just for the records.
if you went to prison for 6 months or a year on some kind of possession charge, and now you're out, your record
expunge the
should
record
be
so there's no
expunged.
record.
Because
But the same
as I'm
thing
reading
applies.
it,
The same thing applies, though.
because I'm like, because they say if you're the person, or if I'm the person that wants my record expunged, I have to make a request. It's just not going to happen.
I guess the question too is for people who were incarcerated for possession. When was the last time you saw somebody incarcerated for mere possession of marijuana? And I'm thinking
Unless
back.
they were
I'm
growing
thinking
it.
back to the '70s. Unless
Yeah.
they were
Unless they were
distributing
growing
it,
it.
selling it.
Yeah.
The answer is none. So we're talking a different level of legality or violation if they were actually put in prison or have a record, because for the most part, it was confiscation and leave you alone. Because if you're just using, you weren't going to prison for sure. So I still wonder what the other activities were that got them in trouble that I think need to be considered, because
But if you want your record expunged, you go to any county, superior district court, or the traffic tribunal
do the paperwork.
and do the paperwork. Yeah.
Here's a weird question for you. Have we talked about this before? I'm not sure. If you're getting pulled over for drinking and driving, you can get arrested. But they have a way to measure your alcohol intake. But with weed and marijuana, you're under the influence.
A couple of years ago, we talked about this when they were talking about legalizing it, and the question is, how do you?
But there's no way
how do
to
you
measure it, right?
How do you measure intoxication from excessive use of marijuana?
But you're still under
and
the
the answer
influence.
is, you can't.
You
Right.
can't. There's no machine to blow into like a breathalyzer.
The
But
best-
very
the-
similarly,
I
you're
think
impaired, and you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. The best method is check for snacks on the front seat and going 20 miles below the speed limit.
A bag of Doritos open.
And when they
Big Mac
and when they
wrappers.
open the back window, when they open the window and they lean out and they say, "Yeah," you pretty much got them. But you
Well,
can't
yeah.
do anything with it because it's
really
not
can't.
enforceable.
Well, that's right. So, all right, it's time for a second message from Navigant Credit Union, Amanda. Then we'll take another break here in the Coffee and program.
Perfect. Thank you. So we now launched our new Embark account. It is for students aged 13 to 22. It is a no-fee account. It leans more towards the digital age. We are focusing on the 13 to 22-year-olds. You get money management tools, round-up savings to your savings account, which is fantastic. Card controls through your online app, mobile deposit, and mobile text alerts, which are always great for a child to know or a teen to know where their balance is at all times. A legal guardian or parent must be with you on the account until you turn 22. Or until you turn 18 at that point. So go into any branch or go on our website for more information, www.navigantcu.org, or call us on our call center, 401-233-4700.
All right, Amanda, thank you. And
Thank
more
you.
of the Coffee and program coming up. Comments, questions can still be called in at 766-1240.
Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
Are you tired of stepping into a freezing cold car in the winter? Inferno Audio in Woonsocket has the solution. Their remote car starters allow you to start your car from the comfort of your home. Never feel the chill again with Inferno Audio. Stop by Inferno Audio today and upgrade your vehicle with a remote car starter. Inferno Audio on the corner of Worrell and Clinton Street, where technology meets warmth. Visit infernoaudio.com.
Do you know King Jace? King Jace the 28th, the mysterious monarch of the Woonsocket Mardi Gras, is a man from the area who is well known. Here's another clue to the king's true identity. Clue number 6. King Jace wouldn't be caught dead in pink. If you think you know the name of the man who's playing King Jace, place $1 in an official King Jace Quest envelope, available at both Woonsocket radio stations and the offices of the Call newspaper on Main Street. King Jace will be unmasked by the Queen of the Mardi Gras at Savini's Pomodoro Restaurant, Rathbun Street, Sunday, February 12th. After the unmasking, a drawing will be held from all the correct guesses, and the winner will receive $50 cash. The King and Queen and her court will reign over the Woonsocket Mardi Gras festivities the following Saturday, February 18th, at the St. Anne Arts and Culture Hall on Cumberland Allen Street. Do you know King Jace?
All right, it is Coffee In here on ON AM and FM. Joe Callahan here with Amanda LaRose, Melissa Smith, and John Ward. And that murder suspect in Providence, the one that was being served an eviction notice by his landlord, so he shot her.
Yeah.
He's staying in prison, but he's up on a lot of firearm charges. But after talking with Bob Lauder, our attorney here on Coffee In last week, he's saying that the landlord was in the wrong. Landlords don't serve eviction notices.
No.
Sheriffs
do.
serve eviction notices. I'm
A legal notice, yes.
So his claim of self-defense because they were kicking down his door, I think
No,
there's
there's a legitimacy to it, but there's something that's going to cause him a problem. I think somebody referred to it as a ghost gun, which
Oh, well,
means
that's okay. Yeah, he's got firearm
Which
charges.
runs
Yes,
it's an unregistered gun. And,
he was initially,
or a serial number.
but he
or
was
something.
arrested for murder. So I think that charge is actually going to go away.
Yeah, there may be some involuntary manslaughter drop to charge, and then he's got the gun charges.
Mm-hmm. And the mom in Massachusetts, more details are coming out, and not very good details about how she strangled her allegedly strangled her 3 kids. I thought she would just use her hands, but no, she used a rope. Like, wow. And now I heard she's paralyzed, at least according to her defense lawyer, after she jumped out the window.
Well, she landed on her head, broke her neck.
I don't know what she landed on, but paralyzed from the waist down. I said, I didn't realize that. So she's been ordered to stay in the hospital until they can transfer to wherever for mental health stuff. And
Yeah, that'll probably be the rest of her life.
You think so? The rest of her life?
Well, she'd have to show that she's not a danger to herself or society, and then even if she does, then she has to deal with the criminal aspects of killing 3 people that may put her into a regular prison.
Okay.
So, I don't know, maybe not her whole life, but for a long time.
All right. Amanda, have you ever heard of this website, Money Geek? They say it's a financial advice site.
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is because they put out a poll or a report of some kind, and out of 660 communities, safest communities in the United States, Rhode Island has 4 in the top 100.
Wow.
Really?
So yeah, so South Kingstown comes in at 23rd.
South Kingstown?
At 23rd. And Cumberland at 75. Yay.
Really?
Coventry 98, Warwick at 100. Now they based this all on FBI crime statistics from 2021, which is the most recent year of data that's available. So,
Warwick. Wasn't thinking Warwick.
no, I wouldn't think that either, but
I wouldn't.
Did you
have
say
thought-
Warwick?
Yeah.
At 100.
At 100.
Coventry at 98, Cumberland 75, South Kingstown at 26, 23rd.
Right.
But 2021 data.
Yes.
So
Yeah, but I mean,
Maybe
maybe
population
it's because it's so
ratio
far
with
away, but I don't
represent-
hear an awful lot about crime in Westerly. Or Little Compton. Where's
That's
Little
why it's gotta
Compton?
be
Where's Little
population
Compton
based.
ranking?
I don't know.
Or is this based on over a certain population?
I think it has to be.
It could be over a certain population,
Like
but I don't have all that
crime to-
information. Yeah.
Population ratio.
Mm-hmm. So we talked about when you said taking the traffic stop, and with all the munchy stuff on the thing. You're like, what do you want, kind of thing. So this actually happened in Madisonville, Kentucky. Police in Western Kentucky say a man took a swig of beer during a routine traffic stop. I'll just have a little more of this, please.
You were thirsty.
So the man, Jordan Craig, he was initially pulled over for going more than 80 miles per hour in a residential area. So he's speeding. And so the officer reported seeing an open can of beer in the car and that Craig drank from it when he went to run his license. Maybe he's not paying attention. And if I empty it, oh, well, yeah, it's open, but it's, I just keep empty beer cans in the car. And he won't notice this. So, all right. The 25-year-old failed a field sobriety test, told the officer at one point he forgot how to count. All right. And officials say his blood alcohol level is just over just over 0.12. I don't know. It's 0.08, isn't that?
That's 50%. That's 50% higher than allowed.
Than it should be.
Yeah.
Okay, so
He was happy.
I love that. Oh, the cop's doing something. He won't notice what I'm doing.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And it was in an actual beer can, not in a Yeti, like not
No,
not
that's
as
right.
though it was in a
An actual
disguisable
can.
cup. Huh, genius.
The actual can. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, not the
I mean,
same.
at that point, he knows he's going, so you might as well just finish it.
Oh, you finish it. I
wanna
paid for
waste
this.
it.
Yeah.
That's right.
I can't waste this.
All right, we'll see if the ladies have ever encountered this situation when dealing with a toddler. Ready? This is out of Pennsylvania. Toddler's okay after getting her head stuck in a cake pan.
Cool.
Her
Wait a minute,
head's
what?
stuck in a cake pan.
How do
Yeah.
you get your head stuck in a cake pan like
This
this?
way? Oh, if it was this.
Well, the
This isn't-
firefighters came to the home of Erin Mexel after her 2-year-old, Quinley, that's an interesting name, got her head stuck in an angel food cake pan with the middle section
that makes
removed.
sense now.
Does it all make sense?
Oh,
okay.
that's not good.
Now I get it.
Because that's very thin and sharp.
Okay.
inner
Yeah,
circle.
that edge, the edge on the
That
bottom
is
would
sharp.
be. Yeah.
Oh, so
But-
how did they did
Well,
they share?
yeah,
butter?
firefighters were able to remove the pan with the help of tin snaps.
Tin snips, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Mexel said her daughter was, quote, a trooper through the entire ordeal and was not injured. She went on to say that this kind of accident seems to run in the family because the mom had her own legs stuck in a plastic chair as a child.
Well,
Oh, who didn't? I mean, everyone had their
see now,
legs-
you remind me of a
spindles in
fun, you
stairwell.
remind me of a funny story worth sharing because I had to use not tin snips but wire cutters this last weekend because my new puppy discovered a rabbit in our backyard Saturday evening, and the rabbit ran up. Well, I have a chain link fence around the whole yard, so the rabbit slammed into a fence there, slammed into a fence there, slammed into the fence in the corner, and I finally caught the dog, and he wasn't trying. It was a puppy, so didn't know quite what to do with it.
Right.
So he wasn't attacking it. He was just sort of there,
Yeah.
getting ready to do something. But in the meanwhile, the rabbit's head and front legs had gotten through one
Oh,
section
the triangle.
of the fence, which is like this big.
Yeah, yeah.
The rabbit's front was through there, but
The back not
the back
coming.
legs are in the back, scrambling to get loose. And so I tried pulling it back out, but as soon as I did, it spread its arms
Yeah,
open, so
it
it blocked
couldn't
me
move.
from doing that. So I couldn't help that
Dumb
way.
bunny.
My,
I'm
my
sure you
wi-
were yelling
my wife
at
got the
it.
dog on a leash to control him,
Oh.
and I had to
guess
go
so,
get
yeah.
the wire cutters and actually
Snip.
ruin my chain. No, cut
Yeah, cut the
around
fence.
to get the rabbit clear so it could take off.
And it did it?
It did, yes.
It did try to
Oh, no,
try
it
to
Good
turn around and bite you.
animal
Yeah.
lover.
No, it took off. Now I have to repair the fence.
Well, yeah. We did get a note that was called in, 766-1240, just says landlords raise the rent when they want, anytime they want, at any amount they want, and there's nothing you can do about it. It's not only unfair, it's wrong.
There was just an article in the Breeze last week about senior housing rates going up by 10%. Did I read that accurately?
That's very possible.
With short notice.
Yeah.
There's
And I
there's
thought,
apartments. There was an
wow,
article.
10%.
There was an article about affordability in the Journal. I think yesterday, or the day before, where the same
Mm-hmm.
thing happens. Rents go from 1,200 to 1,600. It's like, huh? What?
Yeah. And they just can.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, you're right, it's not fair. Is it wrong? Well, not
Yeah.
to the landlord, but...
Well,
to
the problem
to the
I have
tenant.
is with a landlord, like was illustrated in the Journal article, where they don't do repairs in the buildings. There's walls leaking. There's plumbing that's not taken care of, and they're still charging the same rent. And if people complain or organize, the landlords are pretty much saying, "Well, go ahead, try to find another place to live."
Yeah, that's right.
Well, the variables
you know,
too with utilities included or not in the rent, because obviously if utilities
There are some
included,
times where I believe
gas is
that
up.
that public shaming and the stocks should be brought back, and it's for landlords who actually treat tenants like that by ignoring problems and feeling as though they can simply take their money and do nothing
Right.
except put it in their pocket. Yeah, those people deserve to have their heads sticking through a hole with their arms tied and tomatoes thrown at them.
All right. This isn't a great story, but a sixth grader in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, he's in custody after reportedly giving THC gummies to several of his friends on Monday. They arrested the 12-year-old at Southeast Middle School. The student reportedly gave gummies to 3 other kids because those kids asked for them. And they said, hey, I can get these for you. And okay, but bring them into school. We'll have them tomorrow. At least 2 of them were sickened. As a result, 1 was taken away by EMS. The 12-year-old is now charged. Here you go, John. 12-year-old charged with pot possession and taking a dangerous substance into a school zone. The other 3 were released to their parents after being issued a summons for possession of contraband on school property. So Kids always think they can get away with things.
Entrepreneurship. So
He didn't say
different.
oh, that's. All right, I'll give it to you free for now, but no, after this you pay. Maybe. All right. We'll end on a good note. All right. Valentine's Day is coming up. Americans will spend big this Valentine's Day. All right. The National Retail. You don't think so, Amanda?
Just don't
It's
get
probably
it.
the worst holiday ever.
Worst?
It really.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
surveying half the population in the room right
Yeah.
now.
Not
It's
a
just
fan?
such a waste.
All
It's
right,
such a
well.
Hallmark holiday.
The National Retail Federation expects consumers to shell out nearly $26 billion on the holiday this year. That works out to an average about $193 per person for flowers, cards, candy,
Why?
and other gifts for friends, loved ones, and even coworkers.
$192 per person.
Per person.
Per person.
Yeah. It's also about $20 more than last year's average. A separate report by Wallet Hub finds almost 1 in 5 Americans thinks it's okay to use a credit card to pay for that special Valentine's Day gift.
Cringe.
Amanda is shaking.
I was a florist for over 12 years.
Yeah.
And
This is your busy year.
this was our busiest time, right?
Yeah.
And but
That
it's
Mother's
ironic
Day.
that the day before, right, or even the week before they change the prices, the week before you can get the same flowers for
So
half
crazy.
the cost,
Yeah.
and then the day after, and then when I met my husband, I was like, please don't ever buy me flowers on Valentine's Day.
It's so funny from the guy's point of view. Maybe John, maybe you agree with me on this. When we hear that from the women, they go, "Is this a test?"
It's not a test.
Okay,
It's
we
not.
don't give you something, and then we're in trouble.
No, but you see, you can give different things, right? You can do a home cooked meal. You can just write a card, make a
Empty
letter,
the dishwasher.
empty the dishwasher, take out the trash. Like, I don't need flowers that are going to die.
Empty the
Coffee
dishwasher
in
and take
bed.
out the trash.
Bringing it
Empty
up.
the dishwasher and take out the trash is something special.
Yes.
Yes. A hot cup of coffee in bed in the morning.
What am I doing wrong?
I don't know. All right.
Do your wife? No. Do your wives expect something on Valentine's Day?
No, we
card.
talked about it a while ago.
Really?
She
You
insists.
still do
She
the
insists
card?
upon cards. She likes cards because they
Really?
My wife
remind,
likes cards, too.
They're memorabilia. They remind her of things. She can look back
They're
at
so
them.
expensive now. I've omitted them. I'm
That's
like,
it.
they're $6-7 a card now.
Well,
you gotta
not
go
if
to
you buy them at the right place.
At the dollar store.
That's love too.
Two for a
Here's
buck.
your-
$2.25. You know. Yes, they're last
It's
year's
the
cards.
love note
but who
on the
cares?
inside that you write, right? It's not the card that matters.
It
It's
is.
the love note.
It is. It's
Yeah.
see to me
Love Joe.
To me the important message to me
XO.
is every morning when she gets up the coffee is already made.
See,
Oh,
that's
that's
great.
that's very
My
nice.
husband does
Very
that
nice.
too. That is, and it matters when you stop and think about it. That's what matters.
All right, we got to run. The show's come to an end. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. Amanda, thanks for coming in. Always nice to see you.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day, everyone.
All right, and Melissa, thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much. See you next week.
Good luck with the fans at St. Antoine's.
Again,
many-
the resident
they
rooms
have-
are not impacted. I
Good.
just want.
That's
They have
important.
so many fans.
And John Ward, thanks for coming in.
Look, we didn't talk about it, but
All right.
it's hard not to feel bad for Turkey and Syria.
Yes.
Over 7,000 people
Yeah,
dead,
that's
5,000
terrible.
buildings collapsed. So for everybody that's listening, truly remember to go out and enjoy the God-given day.
Absolutely. All right, this is Joe Callahan. Have a great day, everyone, and stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember? It's at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket.